Hi, my name is Gina Yarber from San Diego County News, and with me right now is Bishop Foley Parker. He's president and CEO of Holiness Ministry Coalition, which is a faith-based nonprofit organization committed to inspire pro-social friendships, strong interpersonal skills, and instill a sense of hope in the future of God's people in the communities in which we live, work, and worship. Thank you for this time. As you know, that the Trayvon Martin case has really got people talking about racial profiling and how black men are racially profiled. You have these marches against George Zimmerman wanting his arrest. But the problem is, I can understand they're doing this, but every day, especially on the weekends, we're having young black men murdered by gang violence, and you hardly hear anyone talk about this. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, my thoughts in reference to the black-on-black crime in our communities that is causing our youth to be wiped off the face of the earth based on their own ignorance toward everything that is happening around them, and they can't understand as to why they are, taking the actions that they're taking towards one another. And my view on it is that the church, being the bedrock of our communities, they are lacking in their responsibility of stepping forward and educating our youth and helping them understand that their actions are causing more harm to the communities in which they live than help that they're trying to bring by calling themselves to be representing yet one another with gang violence and different things of that nature.
Early in January, January 2nd, in Oceanside, there was a young man that was murdered.
Yes.
In fact, it was in my neighborhood, shot dead. It was gang violence. Yet you didn't see no one from the churches talk about it, or I didn't see no marches or anything.
Yes, well, that was one of the things that I addressed back in January when this young youth who was supposedly, quote unquote, to be a documented gang member. And irregardless if he's a documented gang member or not, that doesn't still, diminish the fact that we have youth that are dying out here in the public. And as it's said that there was no marches, there was no rallies, there was no any publicity as far as the Trayvon Martin case goes. But I did go out to that house. I did knock upon the door and I tried to engage the parents of this young man. But for the fear of the event that had taken place, they had already moved out, and I had only was 3 days in the makings of going over there. I did see a vigil set up in the front yard where it was a makeshift vigil of prayer and with 40 alcohol bottles and just things in that nature. And then I did approach also some of the clergy in this particular area, and there are at least 5 different churches in the area that no one ever even responded to my request. So, and I also engaged the NAACP on trying to move forward with this thing, but no one ever returned any of my calls as far as engaging this or either coming out to have a prayer vigil or either just coming out to have a rally and get the media involved where we can at least let it be known that we have a presence here and we are calling for this violence to be stopped, not only on the black-on-black crime, but on the people of color in its totality, because we have this epidemic that is going around, and you have the people of color, the Hispanics and the blacks, killing one another, and their youth are dying by the multitudes, and the churches are refusing to even stand up and address this issue, and I can't understand why.
Yeah, because there's no cameras, that's why, to be truthful.
Yes, well, I can understand that because when you get people like your Sharptons and your Jacksons that are coming out to receive their 15 minutes of fame, if there is no cameras per se or media coverage of these different events, then you don't have these so-called preachers or whatever they want to consider themselves to be to come out on the forefront to address these issues. But still and yet, you have these same parents of these same children going and fellowshipping in these same synagogues of these people and praying to God, but all the while the people that are put in leadership by God per se are not even coming forward to address these issues.
And what's frustrating with police is that when they try to get answers, if someone's shot in their neighborhood and they try to talk to the people in the community, no one talks.
Well, no one's talking because of the fear that's instilled. And the fear that's instilled that if they were to say anything, if they did happen to see anything, then they would feel that it would be next. So, but as I was saying earlier, and I continue to reiterate on the fact that if the churches, which are the bedrocks of the community, which at one time and they would step up and be those bedrocks, then you wouldn't have the people in fear. But as to now, they can allow anything that these demonic forces want to do, that is using our youth to cause all of this extra violent activity that's going around, and not being able to even come forward and address these issues and help the police and tell them what they saw and what they did.
And finally, what can we do about it? I mean, how can we stem the gang violence, the black on black, Latino on Latino crime, stop the murders?
Well, one thing we can do, which the Holiness Ministry Coalition is engaged in doing and also committed to doing, and that is having the compassion to work collaboratively with organizations, individuals, and agencies to foster a safe and drug-free environment. Because when you look at the violence, you can best believe that drugs plays a part in it. When you look at the murder rate, and you can best believe that lack of education of life's value is a major component in what these children need, that they can be receiving the knowledge and the education in the different areas, as far as drug prevention, as far as gang prevention, as far as prevention in its totality, to at least bring some type of hope to a community that is without hope.